And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our speakers, Claudia from Colombia, Denise from Turkey, Donna from Florida, David from Nigeria, and Hamza from Kuwait.
They just started putting the...
We can hear. Everybody can.
Oh, okay.
Great.
I can't.
Hello, everybody. Good.
Great.
You can hear. All right.
Oh, Claudia's
Amazing.
there also.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me ask you, can you remember back to your favorite audience ever? I mean, I know every audience is our favorite, but the best group of participants you've ever met in your life. Can you remember what made them special? Can you remember where you were? Can you remember the topic? Well, I can. My favorite audience was May of 2014. I was facilitating the Master Trainer class. It was a blended class, blended learning. And what was interesting is that of the 15 participants we had in class, there were 10 different countries represented with those 15 participants. We had met online, but by the time we got to be face-to-face, we were already connected. So even though today's class is called Games for Global Audiences, it might as well have been called Connecting with a Global Audience. Because with our team, we've been together now for 7 years. We met in that class 7 years ago. And in the past 7 years, working globally and working virtually, we have stayed connected. We've celebrated the births for the new babies in our group now. We've mourned at the loss of loved ones of our fellow participants. We even wrote a book together called Destination Facilitation, all from meeting in a training class 7 years ago. Our team, this is us a couple of years ago, preparing for our meeting. Denise,
They don't show the...
Denise from Turkey, David from Nigeria, Hamza from Kuwait, and Claudia from Colombia. So this program is about really connecting through games, through activities, and that as we talk about the connection, what is going to happen is that we've got a number of objectives for you. So first of all, we want to make sure that you can assess your global mindset using an assessment. Now that assessment is in the appendix of the handout that you have, so that you can take that on your own. We really expect you to, they're introspective questions, so we want you to be able to have that opportunity to really think about your global mindset. So that will be in the appendix. We want you to experience and discuss training activities that are useful for global audiences. But as we do this, again, I want you to be aware of what's in the handout. What's in the handout is complete and total instructions for how to do all of these activities. So we have the objectives for each one, the resources that you need. We also have the instructions in there, and we've included the debrief questions. So all of that is available there. What we're going to do as we go through this presentation is that we will demonstrate the activities here on stage. We'll even invite you, if you want to do some of the activities with us. And all of the activities have been designed for both face-to-face and virtual audiences. So you'll hear each one of the instructors talk about how you can modify it for the different type of audiences that you have. And then lastly, we invite you to observe the facilitation and body language and the techniques that are being used by our instructors that come from different parts of the globe, so that you'll have an opportunity, and they'll share some ideas with you as well. An idea about how to adjust maybe the body language or the language that you're using for different audiences as well. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me first of all invite up Denise.
Thank you, Donna. May I start?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, I welcome you all in our session, and I hope we will enjoy and we will have fun. And normally we start our sessions having, greeting each other, right? So the main aim is to have a playful time in our sessions to connect with our audiences and to make it more fun so that we can connect better. And especially if we have a global audience, it's even more important that we connect with them because everybody is so different than us and than each other. So the most important thing is to find ways to connect with each and every one of our audience. And for that, my exercise in this session would be a greeting exercise that you would greet your participants anyways, and you would want them to greet each other in anyways. So let's put some fun in there. Let's put some play in there. And in your handout, you are able to see the way how we will be doing this exercise, the objective, the logistics, how you can do it, the directions, and how we will debrief afterwards. But we will be presenting it in front of you here. The most important thing is to recognize people have different ways of greetings in different parts of the world. So in our global world, people might be greeting each other different than how we do it ourselves. So we need to be appreciating that, we need to be recognizing that, and we need to be applying it as much as possible in our real sessions. So in this exercise, we will be demonstrating how we can use different ways of authentic greetings around the world. And you can do this as an exercise in your trainings, online or offline. In the face-to-face one, you would like to ask people to have a partner with someone, which I would like you to have right now. Of course, in the COVID sense, we would not be getting so close to each other, but we can be just across each other from far and do the exercise. And if you are watching it online and if you're having your online audience, they will be in their screens. So we will encourage them to do the exercise, looking at the screen and seeing me as their partner. So I'm the partner on the screen. So they will be doing the exercise with me on the screen. The main thing is I traveled 90 countries and I trained in 30 of them. So when we were in Europe, it's easy because many of the European countries like Germany, Spain, France, they have the usual way of greeting with handshake. And for the COVID, maybe we can even do like this. Yeah. And you can do it without touching. The good thing about this exercise, there are many greetings that people don't touch really in their own countries. They greet with different ways without touching. So it's good for the COVID times. The important thing to recognize is maybe you're in a different country in Europe and people can be shaking the hands even differently, stronger or weaker. Like in Germany, it's more like a strong handshake. And in Spain, it's more like holding the hand and, shaking and smiling. And in different parts of the world, like South America, you just give an air kiss, but just one. But in Turkey, for example, we give 2 air kisses. But please do it yourself also.
Yeah, come.
In your screens or yourself here with someone in your team. Team up with someone just 1 meter away.
Side kiss. 2.
So we are doing the kiss.
Claudia. Claudia.
And you know what is more funny? In Holland, Dutch, they are kissing 3 times. And I was kissing twice and somebody's kiss was on the air and I was like standing like this. What happened? Like, what was it? So let's do it. You kiss 3 times, I kiss 2 times. What? And as we are doing this exercise in our trainings, we are elevating it more and more. So the handshake was kind of normal. Now we ended up with these air kisses. And the next one, when I was in Malaysia, they were greeting like holding my hand and then leaving my hand and putting their hand into their heart. And I was like, what?
What?
And let's do it again with the screen. So now this I'm the Malaysian.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's really interesting. And when I was in Japan, I was ready to shake the hand because I was there for a training reason. So I was like ready to shake the hand of the host. I was like this, but the person was bowing. So you're the Japanese, bow. My hand was nearly in the head. So now I'm the Japanese. And please do. As we are practicing this exercise, you can do with your partner and you can do on your screens as well. The interesting thing is if you are energizing people doing these interesting kind of moves, first of all, it will pump up some blood and some motivation and some movement. And also that's funny. And we elevate, so the more funny things will be coming. Also, when I saw these Malaysians doing this hand thing, I remembered in our tradition, which we are not really doing it anymore, but most of the time with our elder people, in Turkey also, we greet having the hand of the elder person and kissing the hand and putting it on our forehead. So if somebody would do that, if it's your first time, probably you would it would be shocked because why grabbing my hand, why kissing, why putting it on the forehead. But this is how we connect with people who are not in our own culture. And if we can do these kind of exercises as an energizer, as an icebreaker in the beginning, it would create some laughter, it would create some fun. And I'm coming with the last most funniest one. In Tibet, do you know how they greet? They take out their tongue. Let's do it to them. You know why? Because in the history of Tibet, there was a king, a very bad king, and he was known as a black tongue. So they're greeting each other, showing their tongue that is not black, that shows that they are not the reincarnation of that bad king. So they are good people. So they are seriously greeting with sticking the tongue out. So please do it. Try it out. Take out the masks. And if you're on the screen, it's easier. You are by yourself. Just take the tongue out. So this is for connecting better. And this is what we are trying to do with our games, with our fun activities, making it a playful environment in our training sessions so that people will be open up, will learn easier and better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Denise.
Thank you.
So have fun with an activity like this. And let me just ask before we move on to our next game, how many of you have, as Denise described, made a couple of mistakes when you are greeting people from other cultures? Thank you. We all have. And I think that there's that awkward moment. And if you use an activity like this in your training classes, what happens is you make it comfortable for us to make mistakes, and then it's easier for people to learn. So thank you so much, Denise.
Thank you.
All right. Our next presenter is David Brown from Nigeria.
Okay. So, hello everybody. I can't shout. I'm told I need to keep it slow. So, how are you? Just thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes, great. So, I'm from Nigeria, and I want to give you a very short story to link to what Denise said. So, I grew up, I'm half British, half Nigerian. In Nigeria has 500 languages. This is one country. 500 languages, 350 ethnic groups. One country in Africa. And Africa has more than 50 countries. So I grew up, my mom is in a very high context culture. She's from a very high context culture. High context in the sense that a lot of things, when they say stuff, you need to see the context in which they say it. So growing up, I was learning British. British is a very low context country. And I learned to greet with a handshake. So I went to, there's this friend of the family, very elderly man. He is Yoruba, that's the culture. And when I went to see him, I put my hand out. And he looked at me and said, "Didn't your mother teach you respect?" I was like, okay, what did I do wrong? And then I realized, obviously, in that culture, he's a far elderly man. I'm supposed to basically bow. This is how you greet. That is how you greet your elders. So he's like, didn't they teach you respect? Anyway. So
Wow.
what I'm going to talk about is a bit technical, so we're going to do it virtual. Who here has used this tool called Mural? Who has used Mural? Anybody here? So we're going to go on Mural. We're not too many here, but we're going to go on Mural, and I'm going to show you an activity that you could use. I call it the topic building blocks. So whatever topic you're teaching, whatever topic at all you're teaching, you can use this activity as, you know, you're doing the initial icebreaker greeting. This is more like an introduction to the session, the topic, but converting it into a game. So we're going to have a game on this topic. And for me, the topic I'm going to use, if you want to log on to Mural, you can just click, kind of scan that on your phone. Scan that on your phone, or you could use the link. It may ask you to download the app, which is kind of annoying, but you could do that. So I'll just give you a few seconds to scan that. And let me go on my screen as well.
Play with us.
Yeah.
So when you do scan that, you'll see this. If you could get there, it asks you for your name. Just put your name. Don't put your email address, just your name, and then enter as a visitor. So when you do enter as a visitor, it will take you to the digital room, the Mural room, and I'll show you the game that we're going to play.
Of the whole thing.
Scan.
So I can see some people already there.
I know.
Great. I can see some people already there. That's great. Okay, can you see some people already hovering? This is the new digital age, obviously. You can see Sarah, I can see Jordan. Who's Sarah? Any Sarah here? Who's Sarah? Let me see where Sarah is. Okay, somewhere. Maybe the digital audience as well. Great. So I have some few instructions for you. I'm going to show you those instructions. And you can use this for, you can basically use this for any topic you're teaching. It's a really interesting way of bringing it out. So my topic today is a question. So I'm going to ask a question, and there's some building blocks you have, about 10 blocks that are 10 different answers. You're going to go into your groups. There are 3 groups. You will choose which group you are in. I have a group for Europe, anybody from Europe or has a culture of Europe, excluding the UK. Group B will be USA, Canada, and the UK. And then Group C will be LATAM, Middle East and Africa, and Asia. So the question is, how will you give negative feedback to your colleagues who has the same cultural background as you? Now that's my topic. I mean, it can be any topic, but I'm just going to use that topic and we'll try and answer that topic. And I'm going to open up the group so you can see how it's going to be done. All you need to do is move your answers that kind of depict your culture to the appropriate blocks, to the appropriate section. All you're going to do is move that. So I'm going to open it up. I can see many people here already, so I'm opening that up for everyone to start working on. So let's have a look at what's happening. You can look at the screen. You can see all sorts of activities happening, all right? So I'm just going to give a few minutes for everyone to play around it and try and answer the question. So if this is a race, you know how they do races. You can see, okay, the Latin America is going up fast, Latin America is going faster. And, you know, we have the UK, the Canada is going, Canada has 3, Canada is 3 already. Just commentary, right? So this is a fun activity. And there's going to be, obviously, if there's a game, right, you need to score. So we're going to do a scoring very, very soon. I'll just give a few more seconds for people to place their... And typically, how you do this normally is you break them out into groups. You break them into 3 breakout rooms. So probably use Zoom. You break them out into their groups. For 5 minutes, they will basically do this and discuss. They will have their mics on and they will discuss what it is that they want to answer. Because that's how you do it normally, like in a breakout room. obviously here no one can hear each other, right? So everyone's fighting for what should be placed. But that's fine. So in your breakout rooms, you discuss, you now place it there, and then we now come back from the breakout room and do a debrief. So we're going to do the debrief now, and I'm going to show you how to do it digitally. So I'm going to take control. I'm just waiting for Africa, Latin America, and Asia, who haven't decided on their third spot. Can you see that? So you can see that UK, Canada, and the US are still deciding and changing things up and down. So obviously they haven't made up their minds. So this is fun. Now, this is us in the digital age, right? If you're in a normal face-to-face, you use sticky notes, right? You use stickies. You'd have three units, 3 places in 3 different corners of the room. And then you use stickies. You break the group down into different cultural groups or whatever it is your topic is about. So I can see quite a lot of people are expected in the US section. Can you see that? Very few people in the Africa section, very few people. Oh, can you see something that happened in Europe? I saw 3 blocks there, and someone removed everything. They didn't agree. So I'll jump into the next section. I'll leave everyone to be playing around that, and let me take full control of everyone. So I'm the facilitator, right? And I'm going to take control of everybody's. So I'm going to summon everybody. We have 54 right now in this mural. I'm going to take full control of everybody. They can't do anything right now. Nobody can do anything. So I'm going to zoom in and let's have a look. So this is the debrief in this session. No one can do anything now. So I'm going to zoom into what you do now is a gallery walk, a digital gallery walk. So it's like going everybody, let's say, hey, let's see what group A did. Let's see what group B did. Let's see what group C did. So all I'm going to do is zoom. As I zoom, everyone on this mural is seeing me already. Since this made it up here, let me just drag it up here, right? So what you will do in the normal session is you say, okay, for people in, what culture is this? Europe, and excluding the UK, what they do is they give the negative feedback informally over a private lunch or drink. And also, you may use strong but respectful words when giving negative feedback. So that's the culture, that culture, right? So my gallery walk, I'll move into the US. I'll move to the US. So everyone moves with me. You can see the US haven't made their minds up, right? The US, Canada, and the UK have a lot of disagreement, right? So typically this would happen in your breakout rooms. You give 5 minutes for them to do that. Then I'm going to move to Latin America. And here you can see that for there, you may use strong and respectful words when given feedback. Give feedback immediately right when the action happens. So you could see all sorts of ideas here. So I'll just jump to the scoreboard. At the end of the day, the scoreboard is open. I'm going to release everyone here, and let's just see what happens. So the scoreboard for this activity, and you can modify it for yourself. You could say, okay, how many people in group A answered the same thing as group B and C? How many people in group B answered the same thing as group A and C? And they score themselves. How many points? And then you see the total number of points. And the debrief here, and again, this is for any topic you have. It's such a nice game. Any topic you have, the debrief here, because someone's dragged it out. So the debrief here is, okay, why maybe you now pair 2 divergent cultures or some people completely divergent, and then ask them to go and do another discussion. Why do you think you're so different why do you think your ideas were so different? Or people that are very close, why do you think your ideas were so close? So it takes a bit of planning. All I did here was go to PowerPoint and download a few things, and really that's the activity. That's the activity. But for us as a cultural group, it's important to know that there are people with different cultures and there are different ways for giving feedback, right? So someone may give feedback not directly. Another person, Dutch, for example, the Dutch give feedback very directly. The Dutch and Germans, very directly, and it's not personal. That's just how they give feedback. But in the US, it's a bit of kind of sandwich approach. You do the good feedback, you give them good feedback, and then negative feedback. Maybe 1 negative for 2 positives or 3 positives. So different cultures. So it's very important we use that. And then another thing you could do, a bonus for you, is after this activity, what you get here can now lead to the actual topic or the actual training that you're about to do. So that's what I have for you. I'll just move off to the slides. Obviously, we'll probably come back at the end and see what they finally decided, right? But I'll just jump back to our slides.
Thank you so much, David. I think what's interesting is that in today's world, being able to do activities both face-to-face and virtually is really a great idea. And so thank you for demonstrating that. Thank you, David. Thank you, David. All right, our next presenter is Hamza. And I've got to tell you, Hamza calls himself, is it Mr. Excitement? Yes. So in that class 7 years ago, Mr. Excitement, I have to say, was probably that energy boost for the entire class. I'd like to think as the facilitator, it was me. But Hamza, I really think it was you.
Thank you.
And Hamza has a real energizer for us today. So Hamza, let me give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, my colleagues. You've been so good. Are we going to stay on chair or are we going to stand up? Now, my activity, I want you to stand up, please, if you're able. And I want you to partner. You know, keep the social distancing, but partner with another person. Now, this exercise called the 3 simple steps. With the 3 simple steps, there is a secret. And we, together, we're gonna discover that secret by the end of this exercise. So those people who are watching us virtually, please, find a partner, your daughter, your spouse, whatever, your cat, or, do it with me, all right? You guys, you can have partner, and we can have partner together. Okay. Now, it is simple count. 1, 2, 3, and we repeat it. We don't stop unless I tell you to stop, because we have second stage, we have third stage, and then we have the fourth stage, which is the final stage. So we'll go from a stage to another. So we'll try it together. Now, since in life we can shout with each other, you say 1, 2, 3, but since we are mindful with the other, groups, so we're gonna do it using my hand, and that's using our hand. That's how we compromise as trainers, right? So this is what we're gonna do. You start. You see that? You can do it? Let's start. We're starting together, all of us. Okay, now we're gonna change number 2. Now it's getting difficult. Number 2 becomes a clap. So we don't do 2, we clap instead. Let's do it. Okay, because we cannot clap because of the audience, so what we'll do, we'll have a twist. Okay? So number 2 is a twist. Go ahead. Number two. How are you doing? Continue, don't stop. Okay, number 3 have changed. We say number 2 is still a swing. Number 3, we jump. We jump. That's a beautiful word. In everything we should jump on it. All right, so 1 is like this, 2 is like this, and then 3. Okay? Let's do that. You're amazing. Guys, let's do, now this is the last part. We go back to the original, 1, 2, 3. Okay? The easy one. All right, let's go back. Okay, well done. Now, I don't know, how can you tell me, what was the journey like? Did you feel like it was getting more difficult and you were like doing mistakes? Did you laugh? Did you move a bit? You got more energy and blood going on? Now, how else would you use this in different audience setup? You know, for example, from where I come from, Kuwait, I cannot do this. You know, they're like, they'll say, oh, this guy is crazy. He's dancing in the class, you know? So I have to come up with something else. And for every country, you can, you know, think of doing the 1, 2, 3 as simple as is and making it difficult, then going back to the original. What we will find out, and I'm sure you find out this, it becomes easy. So if you're seeing that your life is difficult, that means you are doing the easy way. You are going toward the easy stuff. You're not challenging yourself. You're not going through challenge. You're not growing your muscles. So and we're wired like this. We like simple stuff. We don't want obstacles. But guess what? The obstacles that we face in our life and the change that we are flexible to do, that's what makes us stronger. So from this, don't stay on your comfort zone. Jump into the learning zone, jump outside and expose yourself. This is how we learn and this is how we make our life simple. In a nutshell, simplicity is when you challenge yourself to go out of your comfort zone. Then your life will be easy. But if you're always doing the simple stuff, your life will be totally difficult. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hamza. What I really like about this activity called the 1, 2, 3 challenge, you can see it can work with any culture, but what I like about it is the perfect, quick activity to do during any training. That as your participants are being resistant, you're teaching them the 10 steps of this, and you can see that they're just exhausted in their brain. Have them do this activity. In your handouts, you'll see that the debrief questions are really important. What was the challenge about this game? How did you feel when you were given more challenges to have to face? How did you feel when you made a mistake? What about when others made a mistake? How accepting were you of that? And how did making errors impact the change initiative that we're working on here? So you can see that with even a quick activity like this, you can really turn it into an incredible learning exercise. So thank you, Hamza, so much for that quick exercise. Thank you. Our next presenter is Claudia, and she joins us from Colombia. And unfortunately, she couldn't make it here with us. She was one of our original team, and we're so excited to have you here, Claudia. So you have a wonderful exercise for us. Let's welcome you.
Yes.
Let's welcome
Thank
Claudia.
you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So my activity is based on. I am hearing your applause. I am here in Colombia, yes. This is my country. I am representing Latin America. And that I was thinking about the activity that I'm going to share to you, because in this moment, Latin America, we are so touchable culture. We are so moving, so happy, everything. And in the pandemic, we stopped doing it to assure good Wi-Fi connection. In the web meetings, in the web trainings, normally we turn off the camera. So we don't touch and we now don't see each other. And these make increasing the depression and stress incidents. And now we have lots of problems of that. So that is why I want to show you or to present a turn on and turn off camera activity that helps to feel near to and active to the others. You can do only with questions with yes or no answers. You cannot with open, you only with yes or no. This activity has the opportunity, the advantage that you can do it face to face or through Zoom or whatever. Even if we have had preparing to do it virtually, to turn on and turn off, because this connection or all these setups, ATDs tell us, no, we have to do it a face-to-face activity, okay? But the situation is that you can use it whenever you want. For this instance, please, David, put the other slides. Okay, for this activity, I want to see each other, the ones that are face to face now in the panel there in ATDs in Utah. Let's see how similarly we prepare our training sessions. You can do it with any topic. Remember, only with yes or no questions. In this case, the people. I'm going to show you 5 or 4 questions. And if your answer is yes, you stand up and clap. Stand up and clap. And if you say no, if your answer is no, you will keep in sitting. So you have to begin sitting. And according with the answers, you stand up and clap if it is yes. So this is 2 simple instructions. This is presentially, face-to-face. If you are virtually, you can, when you say your answer is yes, you turn on the camera. And if your answer is no, you keep your camera turned off. In this case, I can see here in my other cell phone, I can see you both if you stand up or your answer is. So for the first question, it is easy for you to train participants of different cultures. I'm going to see here. And David, Hamza, Dennis, please help me with your answers. If your answer is yes, please stand up and clap. If your answer is no, please keep sitting. Hamza, Dennis, yes, you 3 of us and the other audience, yes. I could see 4 people. Yes. Okay, David, next question, please. I don't see the question. Okay, this is the second question. Please, Dennis, sit down. Everybody sit down. Perfect. Do you know how to adapt your training activities for different trainees' cultures? Okay, let me see your answer. If yes, stand up and clap. If not, keep sitting. Very good. Please sit down and continue to the third question. Before delivering a session, do you research cultural information about your participants? If yes, stand up and clap. Okay, me too. And let me see the audience. Okay, there are some few. Okay, let's check how many people is standing up and clapping. Okay, next question, please, Dave. I need to read the question. Okay, the fourth one. Do you know how to integrate participants of different cultures? If yes, stand up and clap. Don't forget to clap. In my case. Very good, Donna and Dennis. Okay, let's sit down and let's go into the last one. Do you know how to give feedback in other cultures of trainees that are in another from another culture? If yes, stand up and clap. Okay, Hamza stands up. Okay, I didn't see. Okay, this activity is even in face-to-face is perfect because you can see how similar we are, how many people answer there or how many people answer no. But for example, what happens in Latin America is that I used, for example, when I'm going to deliver a emotional manage, I begin with some yes or no questions about that, and people turn on, turn off the camera, and everybody can see the answer, and especially notice that we are not alone, that we are not fighting alone. We are having people sharing our feelings in this moment. What I use this activity for, another topic. For example, when you deliver or give some topic or information and you want to see if people is agree with you. So you can say, hey, the people is agree with me, turn on the camera. If not, turn off. Or you can, for example, give to two participants different topics, they expose it, and you can say, who is agree with the participant A, please turn on the camera or stand and clap. And who is agree with the participant B, turn on the camera or stand and clap. So you don't necessarily need in this moment Socrates, Mentimeter, Google Docs to do a little polling with yes or no questions. In Latin America, this is getting be closer because at least we see each other, at least through the camera. Because in Latin America, it has been difficult to be apart in the distance in this moment. For me, in this moment, it's difficult even to be with you, near to you, Hamza, David, Dennis, and Donna, for me to hugging you as your partner. And you guys, the ones that are watching me, I can see you. I can see the people that are online, but big hugs to you. As I told you, this is the setup. Create normally 6-10 questions, no more, because it's going to be so hard for the people. But 6-10 questions is good. So this is my activity from Colombia, this one country, sending to you so many kisses. Donna.
Thank you, Claudia. See, I love this activity because we each have clients that will say to us, or within our own organizations that say, oh, for the bandwidth's sake, don't turn on those cameras. But I agree with Claudia. There's so many times where you just lose that element of connection by not turning them on. So I love the way that Claudia has adapted the stand-up, sit-down game for the technology that we now use, and saying this is a way to just turn on that technology, turn on the cameras a little bit, and we can feel more connected that way. So that's wonderful. So, David, do we have some questions from the audience?
Let's see. So there's opportunity to ask questions on the app, and maybe on the app as well. We also kind of put something up. This is Poll Everywhere. It's a bit small to see, but if you want to ask questions online right now, you could go to pollev.com/dbrown. That's pollev.com/dbrown. And you can also ask questions on the app. I'm looking at the app right now. I can't see any questions yet. Oh, I haven't signed in. That helps. You should sign in, right? So let me sign in. So if you're on the app, you could also ask questions on the app, and I'll read it out. And while we're doing that, you could also go to pollev.com/dbrown, and the questions will pop out here and would answer them. I wonder how our American and US and UK, I don't know if they've agreed online. So maybe I could just pop by and just have a look at them, right? To see, have they agreed on those questions? Let me zoom out. Everybody has left the room, right? So they didn't agree eventually. So, but that's interesting. So Okay, could see in one word, we're asking a question here. Okay, great, great. So some people have connected. Let's look at the app. I'll go back and forth. I'm going to the next one, which is the actual question. So if you have a question, you could type it now and it will appear, and we'll have a look at it. Having a quick look at the app.
Helpful.
How they're doing the word count.
Yes. So okay, so no questions on the app yet.
Well, they-
Eye-opening, fun, helpful. How do you drive engagement for teams or groups that don't want to participate or are reluctant? Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I think that a couple of things come to mind when I think about that, and I'll give everybody a chance to add their word to it. As a trainer and someone who works for ATD as a master trainer of master trainers, I think that a lot of people come to the point and ask the question, how do you motivate people who are not engaged? One thing to do, of course, is to go into every single engagement that we do with that positive expectancy that this is going to be an extraordinary training. And so I can't even picture someone not being engaged in a session that I did, because it doesn't even enter my mind. So I go in there just knowing that people are interested and they're engaged. I think that's one thing. The other thing is that what we do with our learning objectives, they must tie in to the learner in terms of the activities and the topics that we're teaching as well. So you have to make sure that that ties in to what they do actually on the job as one. And then the other thing, of course, is that when you're doing these activities, you have to be willing to play with them. And we have to let go of our own ego and our own self-consciousness, and we have to be willing to play with them. And I don't know if anybody has something to add, Denise?
Yeah, what I would like to add, of course, you are not asking them to jump in and do something and participate on something right away. You do some icebreaker, you move people little by little into the relaxed and flexible environment that you create in your trainings, so that you make them do something little in the beginning and then something more, and you add some games or fun or playfulness in it from the first moment on, and it builds up. So when you ask more serious questions that they really need to participate, then they would be getting ready for that over the time in your session.
Absolutely. I believe even your intention as a facilitator, if you come in with the good energy as a facilitator and your intention to help them out, we vibrate energy, and we can touch each other with our vibration. So your thoughts, your intention has to be good, and you want to help these people, you want to make them the best they can be, and they will replicate with you, and they will engage, and hopefully, won't be reluctant. That's my take.
I'll do a quick one, just a quick add on to that, because I've been in a training where there was a participant that absolutely didn't want to participate at all. So what I asked him to do is be an observer. So I just said, you don't have to participate, but please observe everyone else participating and tell us what you observed. So he managed to come out and tell us what he observed. And then gradually towards the end, he participated, not too much, but a little bit. And it's stuff like Japan. Japan has the highest context, is the highest context culture in the world. If you ask them a question, do you have any questions? Everybody will be quiet. You need to pause. Don't just sit down after, no one has a question.
And you
pause for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and look at their eyes, look at their body language. Then say, do you have a question? So they participate in different ways. So it's really interesting reading about cultures. I don't know if you see another question there?
Yeah, a couple of other questions here that are great. How do you manage the expectations of people when you have mostly people from one culture in the room, and then you have a few people from another culture in the room? And I think the key is, as a facilitator, you have to make sure that you are spending your breaks, your lunch, and that you're talking to people at all times, that you're making that human connection with people. And that's I think, one of the most important things that you can do.
Yeah, I would like to add on this. If the few learners from one different culture are comfortable with the language, then you can pair them up with the others.
Yes.
If they are not comfortable with the language, then you can pair them up with themselves, and you can say, you discuss among yourself in your own language.
Yes.
And then one of you can try to explain, and we will try to translate it to the others. So you comfort them. When they are comfortable, they will participate. And also with the language barrier, if most of the activities that you do is like the ones that we showed, they need more action, they need more expressions like movement, then they would not really need that language ability too much. Then it will be easier to make them active in your sessions as well. And because they will feel comfortable, they will try to push themselves out of their comfort zone also more.
Yeah, thank you.
I have an addition.
I have a warning.
Claudia.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was thinking about Donna 7 years ago, because our group was like United Nations, was so many nations there. And I remember what Donna did, because, for example, in my case, in that moment, my English was a very language barrier. And she always gave the time to express myself, even if it was for me so difficult. And she understands, for example, that when she asks question, open question for the participant, I never participate. I don't know, Donna, if you remember.
Yeah.
I never participate. Only I participate and feel comfortable with groups. Because I try to understand everybody, and everybody talks in English in different accents. And for me, it was difficult, but I tried to participate even in group, but normally leave other to say and participate. I try not to do that. And when I talked to Donna in private, he encouraged me and said, no, you can do this, you can do that. But my question was towards her individually. So you can be open. And the other thing, you need to manage your body language, because you are going to find, to figure it out, so many different behaviors that you maybe do not, like this, remember? Like Dennis just told us. And you maybe be shocked, but you need to manage your body language to do not offend to the other people, other culture people.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think I have a warning for this, is because there, fewer people from a certain culture and the majority from a different culture, we tend to focus on the majority. We don't include the fewer people. So the warning is, no, you have to include them, and you have to, invite them to speak and to participate, and make them feel that they're comfortable. And it's, as facilitators, we are responsible for the safe environment where everybody can participate.
Yeah, thank you. David, there's a question here too about mural. Does it come in different languages?
So mural is a whiteboard. So it starts out as a blank slate. So obviously you decide what you put on mural, right? So I mean, you decide what you put on it. But I think the background, I of course logged in as English, but I've seen quite a lot of languages in mural. Yes.
Because what you type in your computer.
Yes. I've seen various languages there. And let me say something. Even though time is going off, all these questions we're going to copy them and put them on the chat and answer everything. I think we can do that, right?
Yes.
So we will answer all the questions on the chat. So check them out later and we'll have answers for you. But I think, like every good training, it's extremely important to get feedback. So I don't know, Donna, I think we can jump into the feedback section. And if you can scan this, what we've done is we've made it easy for you to give feedback for this session. While we still answer some questions, I would like you to log on or scan this QR code and give us feedback for this session. And for those online as well, please, you could just scan it with your phone, just scanning your screen with your phone, and give us feedback. Or you could just type out this short link we created, bit.ly, that's bit.ly/ATD21 speaker evaluation. And actually, that's the same link for all the evaluation throughout the conference. So you could use that same link or even this scan as well. So do give feedback. And I'll give you a point on feedback, since we're all trainers. Don't wait till the end of your session to ask for feedback from your audience. Make sure you leave one last thing at the end and ask them for feedback before that last thing. Because, we always need level 1 feedback should be 100%. If you wait till the end, they'll just leave. So if you know there's still one activity, but you need to give feedback first, try and do that. I think that works well virtually.
Okay, so as they're giving feedback, there's 2 questions there that I can recall. And one question was, and I'll ask Claudia and Denise to help with this. The one question was, someone from the audience is from Central America or South America, and they're about ready to go and train in Spain. And I know that both of you have a lot of experience with European audiences. So what recommendation do you have for someone from Latin America going to teach in Spain? How can that person prepare?
Can we go to that questions back? Because I read she will go to Latin America, not to Spain.
Oh, okay.
You can do both sides. You can do both.
Yeah,
Latin America.
both.
Going to
No,
Spain.
she
Yeah.
lives in Latin America and going to Spain.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would say, probably they feel, because the language is the same, they will feel it would be similar.
Yeah.
But you need to observe and recognize the differences between the Spanish style of Latin America and the Spanish style of Spain itself. And what I saw, there are many similarities, like being warm-blooded, like the Mediterranean culture that I'm coming from. So making them active, jumping up and down, letting them, have loud voices and, huggy or dancey. I'm looking at Claudia at the same time, if she's agreeing with her head, would make a difference. But also try to go online and read a little bit about the research, not like just Wikipedia or the Googling it, but go also maybe go to Scholar Google, which has more articles, made research on people that will give you more not
Accurate.
street smart details, but more accurate details. Comes from research, and that's what I always do when I'm going to a country. Not just search Google, but also do some deeper research as a PhD student. Also, like I'm kind of into this academics, and I also tap into my local connections. If you have someone that just call them and ask, what would their local recommendations. I try to have my network, grow my network, so that I can tap into my network whenever I'm needing to go somewhere.
Thank you.
Claudia?
Claudia, 30 seconds.
Yes.
What would you add in 30 seconds?
If you're going to Spain, the first thing is agree with Dennis, but begin with a good opener based on their necessities. First one. Second one, be prepared for direct people that talk so tough and direct. Latin American people we are not get used to, but don't you take personally. It's only the form, but the essence, get the information and continue with that. Give the most of you can of your knowledge, but be confident. And don't you worry. Spain people is kind of us.
The first question.
Very good. Thank you.
Question was a good one also.
Somebody else asked for additional resources, so I want to mention a game that I've oftentimes used. It's a Thiagi game, and it's called Barnga. It is a great game about different rules for different cultures. I oftentimes open with that game, so look up Thiagi in terms of that. But was there somebody in the room that asked for what other resources can you go to? By show of hands, someone asked that question. Thank you. So one of the resources you can go to is Destination Facilitation. Make sure that you step up here to the stage before you leave, and we want to gift you this book. We appreciate you asking the question. So this is for you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And the first question is something good related to the virtual. Maybe you can ask that.
Any suggestion? Okay. What's that? Any suggestions for how to facilitate a virtual session in high context cultures in which people don't have their cameras on and you can't observe reaction and body language?
That's a tough one.
That's a nice one. So what I would suggest is icons. Now, I've used this in Mural. There is a section there with icons, and what you could tell them is select so many icons. Tell them to select 3 icons that depict their who they are or what they're thinking about at this moment and stuff. Tell them just select icons. So design your mural in a way that you have those blocks that for everybody, and say select 3 icons that depict you. Right, and then of course have a look at it and ask them. So why did you pick the car? Stuff like that. I think that would work. Yeah.
And for me, when I want to observe their reactions and they prefer not to show themselves, I use the chat very often. I ask them to reply with a Y or N, like yes or no, agree A, or not agree with an N, or put them reactions from the Zoom, for example, like thumbs up or thumbs down. Like I ask them to use the chat or their reactions on their screen so that I can feel like what is going on with their what they're thinking back there.
Yeah, and I also love to ask a question. What's your favorite food? 10 seconds, Claudia.
No, that I put, for example, in the screen, these kind of faces, and I put number 1, number 2, number 3. Please, in your chat, put the number of that relates the emoji that you related with.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for attending our session today and everybody else that's online too.
Go back to the feedback.
Yeah, we're really grateful for you attending our program. And again, we want to make sure that we'll answer these questions, but we want to make sure that you also give us feedback. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
And usually in Nigeria, is a culture to always bring gifts. So I have some gifts up here. If you want to smell coffee from Nigeria, come up and smell it. If you want to taste chocolate from Nigeria, come up and taste it.
Thank you.
And we have business cards to give you guys.
Excelente. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.
Not yet.
Claudia, see you.